If you have been watching my channel, you know I have fallen in love with oil pastels. So I went to the art store and decided to look through them all and got this 36 color box of gallery oil pastels. And today I'm going to be doing a little bit of swatching with them just to see how they lay down on the paper. And then I'm going to draw a face with them, a couple of faces, and I hope you join me. We have a nice selection of colors here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide them over like this and test some of them out so we can see how they lay on the paper. They did include this nice peachy color. I definitely, just by rubbing it on the paper, I like the way it feels. And maybe that's why I like oil pastels so much. I like how much they cover. I like that you can layer them on top of each other. Let's see how this purple goes. And I'm not going to be swatching all of these. I just wanted to see how the color lays on the paper and how well it blends. It's got a nice creamy texture to it. It's not as creamy as the Paul Rubens, but it's also not as crumbly as the Faber-Castell. It's kind of a nice in-between. And I like the way it feels. Let's see if I can get sort of an orangey color here. Let's see if you can see that. An orangey color here. And what happens if we put a little bit of yellow on top of it? It blends nicely, covers it nicely. Oh, that's really nice. I like the way that white goes on top of it. Okay, so it lays on the paper really well. I knew I was going to like it. If people are recommending it to me, it must mean it's a nice product. I decided to draw two faces. One of them I'm drawing with just, it's a China marker, but you can use a colored pencil or whatever you want to draw a face. But I thought I'd map out the face and then do the oil pastels. And then the second face, I thought I'd just draw with the oil pastels. And I just wanted to remind everyone, if you are struggling with drawing faces, I do have an ebook. I have a couple of ebooks available for drawing faces on how to drawing faces and practicing drawing faces. So I am going to include a link in the comments and in the description so that if you are interested in getting the ebook, you can just click on it and it'll take you to my online store where you could see all my ebooks. So what I've done now is just mapping in the face, and I'm going to go in with the oil pastels in a really basic way and just lay them down to see how they work. I really love drawing faces and then exploring different art mediums to see how they go on to the paper or the canvas and how I can create interesting faces with paint, colored pencils, markers. I did a lot of markers, and now for whatever reason, I'm really into the oil pastels. I'm just trying to sort of map out the basic features and get that neck in. It's a little wide, her chin is a little long, but eventually I actually figure it out. And I cannot wait to show you the end result of that. I'm mapping in a very high forehead because I have the tendency when I draw to create really short foreheads. So I went exceptionally long here, but it's better to have a longer forehead than a shorter forehead because you can just add hair to it and cover it up. So don't be afraid to make mistakes when you're drawing because, if you're going to add oil pastels or paint or whatever on top of it, you could easily cover it up. So the purpose is just to map in where the features are going to go. And then when you add your color, you're going to make it pop and make it your own. Now you can see here that the oil pastel really does a great job of covering the marks that I made to map out the face. And what I like about it is with a China marker or a grease marker, that's what it's called, it's not going to really smudge. If you used a charcoal pencil or even ink, you might risk smudging your artwork when you're laying down the pastels. And luckily with the China marker, that doesn't happen. I'm really just outlining the peach around the edges of her face because if you guys follow my channel, you know I'm not into realistic faces. I like to make it my own. I do like to see where, you know, put down the shadows and where I think there's going to be areas of dark and light when it comes to the face, such as those eyelids. In the crease of an eyelid is darker. Anywhere in around the nose is going to be darker. So like where the eyes and the nose meet, it's going to be darker under the chin, and usually the sides of the face. And so that's what you see me doing now. I'm just trying to get those shadows mapped in before I continue on. I know that a lot of people like to smudge their oil pastels, and sometimes I like smudging them too, more with a blender, a Q-tip, or a paper towel. I tried with the gloves because I don't like the feeling of the oil pastels, but I really didn't like the effect. But again, once you've done something, can't really erase it when it comes to oil pastels. So I just played around with this to see how it felt. I didn't enjoy it, so I just sort of stopped and moved on. Once I start hitting the phase of my artwork that I feel like it's starting to get to its ugly phase, because every painting has an ugly phase, every drawing, you get to this point where you're like, oh, this looks really bad. I like to add some bold black, highlight some areas, bring it to life a little bit, and then continue on. It gives me a little bit of confidence to sort of highlight certain areas that I like. Once I add the whites of the eyes, I start feeling kind of happy with the way this looks. Not only the whites of the eyes, but then you add, you know, the sort of the lighter areas where light shines on the face, the nose, the tip of the nose, the bridge of the nose, you know, just under the lip, on the chin. And it just creates this sort of nice area of highlight and makes your artwork pop. For the final touches on this face, I'm just adding some nice muted colors, some purples and a little more pink and just sort of more peachy tone. And it's funny, I finish this painting and then I start on the next one, but you will see at the end, I went back and went over them again and I just fell in love with the whole process of painting with oil pastels. The second way to draw faces is just mapping in the features and then putting the outline on. And I think this is probably my favorite way to draw faces. I really am not thinking a lot, and it's just super fun to just draw freely without thinking too much. And that's what I'm doing here. And I just really enjoy this. And even though everything looks a little wonky at the end, I just really had a good time with this one. Notice the beautiful blending that peach has on the pink. So when I'm laying down the peach over the pink, there's this beautiful smudging that happens with the oil pastels, and I loved that effect. So I keep going and keep trying, going over her eyes. And again, those areas of shadow, the eyelids, around the edges of the face, below the lip, below the chin. I'm just getting those shadows in there with color this time though. Two of my favorite things to do, add the whites of the eyes and the highlights, and that's what I'm doing here. And then going in over the, basically the pupils and the eyelashes and just drawing those in before I continue on. Once I feel happy with the areas of shadow, that's when I start going in, adding the red. So I love to add red and green and then bring it into just touches, light touches into the face as well. So I add the pops of red, then I add the green leaves for the roses, and then I bring just a touch of color into the face so that it brings it all together. I'm so glad I got these oil pastels, and I really love the final results with the bold colors, and they blended well, they laid on top of each other well, and I like the selection of colors I had. These are the final artworks. I did add a little sparkle glue before I continued on with additional layers of oil pastel. I want to thank everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Happy sketching.